This is Zeus. Welcome, planet ship Earth. Now I have a consideration that I would like to share, and I'm going to share it in a part that I would like you to make your own declaration. Okay? So my consideration was this, and my understanding of love was way off. Now I was told, love hurts. Well, guess what? This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you, as I proceeded to paddle my ass. And a lot of these particular situations, I have to say cancel to it, and then I have to register myself to the belief that I have been told the truth about what love is. Well, love is patient, love is kind, doesn't come off in a brash manner. We know that to be true. But even more specifically, why is love so important? Now that's an interesting concept when you consider that in the beginning, in Genesis means made by Isis, which is another interesting parsec. Again, I'm not even going to go there. But in the beginning, in chapter 1, verse 27, it says, God said unto himself, let us make men and women in our likeness, in our way, right? And with that, I thought to myself, okay, well, what is God? Well, Jesus said, 2 John 4:8, that God is love. So now we go into understanding that we were made in love. And so anytime that I don't feel in love, this is called discord. Well, what is love? Now the fruits of the Spirit, Holy Spirit, which, if we understand, is one with God and is God. The Holy Spirit is a beautiful, beautiful vibrational frequency that is in our universe, because all is vibration, all is goodness. So this Holy Spirit that envelops in our field is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Wow. So in the very core essence of me is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Now the fruits of the Spirit are me, and I am in there because I received the Holy Spirit of God as me. And the Holy Spirit is true, and it is the power that goes through your chakra system in top of the head and down through the chakra system. So you're an electronic being that is the essence of love, and anytime you participate in love, then what happens is the joy comes, the peace comes, the love comes, because I'm being that. And that's the secret of ask, believe, and receive. So when I ask and I believe, I am now to be, and then ask, believe. So I'm asking, I'm being it, I'm just walking into it, and I'm doing it, and then I become it, because I have it already, because I was doing it. Once I start doing it, I have it. It may not be the most successful, but if it's something that you love, follow after it, baby. You get everything that you love. Why? Because it's what you were destined to do. Now, I'm not saying that the negative programming that we had installed into our subconscious brain from childhood under the Coptic schooling system, which for some reason I set that self up for myself in order to feel the experience that I felt and to break free of a chain. No wonder I skipped so much when I was in school, right? So if you're watching this, you probably skipped a lot in school, didn't you? Because they didn't have you. It didn't feel right. right? And along with the some of my family history, stuff that never existed, but it did put me into a path of experience that I could experience and say, I don't think I'd rather that for others. You know, and the interesting thing is, if everything outside of you is a mirror of you inside, what I perpetuate and what I allow for others is going to be the reality that I live. You know, it's an interesting thing when you actually you come into a reality that your perpetuation of things and the thoughts of things now become your standard, because that's what you're observing. It's the thought. If you allow it in your mind, you will give it power, and it doesn't exist until it actually shows up in your field. And then you have to understand, what do I really want for me? Because what's the first concept of life? Who do I listen to? Who do I listen to? Anybody that has what I want and has been where I've been. And there's not too many people that have been where I've been. Not too many people have felt the thing. Actually, nobody has been where I've been. And nobody has been where you've been, because you are the God of your own universe, and you're the one that's actually setting up the experience. This is what I'm coming to an understanding of. So nobody was at fault. So forgiveness is pretty damn easy at that point in time, because if I'm here right now and everything seems to be okay, it doesn't matter what happened before, because guess what? It all led me to this point in time where I'm at. And let's say it's a little bit of a struggle where I'm at, because maybe I'm not having everything that I wanted. But the key point is, am I okay? Am I breathing? Am I becoming the very highest version of me? And there's no fault outside of me. There's no fault outside of me. It's me dealing with me. And why am I doing this? Choices. Decisions that I've made. Decisions that I've made that this is important to me, and guess what? It focuses into my reality. And I have choice. At this point in time, if I got some old stuff coming up in my reality, the more focus, more energy I give to it, the more it has life. Right? Because my attention, where attention goes, energy flows. My attention is my observation. My attention is my observation. You know, and that, when we come under that understanding, it's like, okay, so what do I really want? And so now put my attention on that, and then it comes. If I put my attention on what I want, it will come. That's the interesting thing. And so why don't I do more of it? Because I wasn't trained to do that. And now I'm learning a new way, and I've got to learn it to the point where it becomes habit. Now, this is an interesting thought, and I want you to think about it if you like. And if you don't, I don't know why you're here right now, because I think it was one of the most enlightening things that has just become relative in my own thought processes, is the very levels of understanding. The understanding of, first off, whenever I come into a new cognition of something brand new that I've never seen before, prior to it, I was unconsciously incompetent with that thing because I didn't even know it existed. Unconsciously incompetent. I had no idea, right? And then when I do come moved into this particular place, now I become conscious, but I'm still incompetent with it because I know nothing of it. But if I think that maybe it might be something of benefit to me, now I might even study it. Now, this is an interesting thing, and I'm put this together just by the thoughts of thinking about how the concepts work, because this really is the fourth concept of life. What things do I want to put my attention to? And now, if you look at the second concept, which is the teachability index, okay, the teachability index helps a person filter. It's totally up to you but I highly suggest it, and I need to do more of it in my life, which is when you look at something, okay, how much energy do I want to put into this? Key. So you say, well, what's my willingness to learn about this thing? Is it a 1 or a 10? 1 being not at all, 10 mean, I'll do whatever it takes, okay? And then the second concept of this second part of the questioning is, what's my desire? How will I accept change? What's my level of acceptance of change in my life? So I'm looking at, okay, in order to learn this, what things am I going to change in my life to learn this and become a beautiful expression of doing with it? What am I willing to give up, right? And that's an interesting concept, because sometimes we do that unthinkingly, right? But this way here, you just 0 to 10. Now let's say I don't want to give up anything. I'm gonna put a 0, right? 10 means whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I will learn this thing here and I will become the master at it, right? So now what you do is you just take those numbers and you multiply them together. Let's say you said, I'm gonna do whatever it takes learning this, but I'm not gonna give up anything, right? And 0 times 10 is 0. You are not gonna be able to do it very well. You're not gonna master it, right? You may get some level of success out of it, but you're not gonna get to the point where you're actually controlling everything, okay? Now, let's say you do a 10, I'll do whatever it takes on learning, and then basically, my willingness to learn is a 10, my willingness to accept change is a 10, you become a perfect student. Hop on board, we're gonna go for a ride and do some things that are gonna make a change, right? So, and at that point in time, you go into the learning of it, and you become competent at doing it, and then you become competent of getting the results. So you're basically you went for the first stage, which is unconscious competence, conscious incompetence, when you're aware but you didn't know anything about it, and then when you're starting to do a cycle to work towards it based upon the rewards that you express, that you're willing to do whatever it takes, you become consciously competent. Okay, so now you're consciously competently doing something over and over again. But when you do that so many times, what happens is you become unconsciously competent. That means it becomes a second nature. It becomes you. It's habit. Your body just does it that way because that's what you do. So that's an interesting thought, but that will guide you anywhere you want to go, right? The 4 concepts, willingness to learn, willingness to accept change. That's the second concept. First concept is, who do you listen to? Anybody who has what you want and has been where you've been. And you heard the second concept, willingness to learn, willingness to accept change, rating yourself on that. And this is just a tool to find out what items do I want to put energy into? Because if I don't have anything above a 50 on my multiplication, guess what? It's probably not going to deserve any of my attention, and now I know to push it away and say, look, I'm just not interested, and then go on to something that I'm more interested in, because that's where you're going to get results in your life. So the 4 concepts truly have a brilliant way. And then you go into the third concept, where you're going to be actually expressing and understanding vibration, energy, and thought, and how much thought needs to go into a thing. Because really, the thoughts of a thing and how much I'm devoting my time into it now will become the thing that I'm showing. And that is so important, because if I don't understand that, conceptually speaking, I need to put more about 90% of my time into the manifesting of a project that I want to put out there. Now, how much time am I going to give it? How much energy am I going to push into that thing, right? And so then we move into the 4th concept, which is the unconscious incompetent, conscious incompetence, and then conscious competence, and then unconscious competence. So we're moving through our 4 level, 4 concepts of life, and then your 5th concept is just to memorize the first 4. So you can get anything you want when you get these concepts done. It's such a pleasure to be able to bring this to you, friends, and I bless you. And remember, this is brought to you proudly by the makers of Redox. Redox is a supplement for a better life. Love you.